is modern. Another way to say this is the house in which I live is modern. Now, if I want to reduce this, in which I live, is modern. Okay, we know that it's possible to reduce this because the pronoun is different from the subject. So, okay, you have this, the first part of your solution is okay, you drop the connector. But now, what should I do with the preposition, Sandra? In my sentence. Sandra?
Yeah.
Are you there?
Yeah.
So what do I do with my preposition?
I'm not sure.
Dime, la canción.
After the verb.
After, ¿cuál verbo? Porque tengo dos verbos, tengo este verbo y tengo este.
Alive.
Live, como que
I live in...
Live, ¿no? O sea, va al final de la relative clause.
Live.
Al final de la relative clause. Bueno, entonces, ya que tienes la información, a ver, corrige tu asunto en la number 15. There must exist.
There must exist in a modern community a sufficient number of persons possessing the technical skill.
No te comas esta S, no te comas esta S. Persons, tengo que ir en plural.
There must exist in a modern community a sufficient number of persons possessing the technical upon Japan.
I couldn't quite catch. Something happened to your connection. A person possessing the technical skill, what? What did you do after technical skill? Could you please write your answer on the chat box?
Teacher, she said that she has a bad connection.
Yeah, I can see, and that is why I'm asking her to write in the chat box, so that instead of suffering with the audio, she can write. Well, while Sandra writes her answer to number 15, let's proceed to number 16. Victoria, oh, we have the answer. The technical skill required to maintain the numerous devices or physical comforts. Okay. In my example, you put the preposition after the verb live. Where should you put your preposition? Remember that you have to put it at the end of the relative clause. That is why I underline the relative clause, Sandra.
Okay, physical conforms is a noun.
Physical comfort is a noun, yes. This is the adjective, this is another adjective, and this is a noun, and this is the verb. Ajá. Porque si no, ¿qué sería depend? O sea, más o menos como qué función tendría si comfort es el verbo, según tú. O sea, ¿qué sería depend? ¿Estaría ahí flotando solito haciendo qué? Como que no, ¿no? Depend es el verbo. So, the numerous devices or physical comforts. Pero ahora, ¿por qué con ese? Depends. Los que están en plural son los comforts y el verbo es depend. Okay, so it depends upon. Is it clear to everybody? So we drop the connector and we put the preposition at the end of the relative clause. So that is why we have to clearly identify grammatically and with our intonation where the end of the relative clause is. Okay, now, some of you wanted to ask a question. What was the question?
Yep. Could it be instead of what you call it? I don't know. The technical skills required. The required technical skill?
No, because all this is a relative clause. Required to maintain the numerous devices. All these, remember, one word adjectives go before the noun. More than one word adjectives go after the noun. So let me show you with a simpler example. So do you agree this is a relative clause and this is a relative clause?
Yeah.
So when we reduce this one, we only have one word. In this case, I have to put it before the noun. And the reduction is, yes, the dancing bear amused everybody. But in this one, when I reduce it, I have many words, more than one word. So I keep that position. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. So here we have all this is a relative clause. So when we drop that is, we have many words. So we keep the position after the noun. Well, number 16, Victoria, up to the word elections, please. Number 16.
Many famous people did not enjoy immediate success in their early lives. Abraham Lincoln, one of the truly great presidents of the United States, ran for public office 26 times and lost 23 of the elections.
Of the elections. Thank you. And what is the name of this reduction?
Appositive.
It's an appositive. Okay. Larissa, next one. The sentence about Walt Disney.
Walt Disney, the creator of Mickey Mouse and the founder of his own movie production company, once was fired by a newspaper editor because he had no good ideas.
Okay. And again, what is the result of the reduction?
Appositive.
Exactly. Then, Hugo, the sentence about Edison.
Yes, teacher. Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb,
Bob, phonograph.
phonograph,
Mhm.
was delivered by his teachers to be too stupid to learn.
Learn. Again, thank you. This is a positive. And finally, Abigail, the sentence about Albert Einstein.
Yes, Albert Einstein, one of the greatest scientists of all time, performed badly in almost all of his high school courses and failed his first college entrance exam.
Mhm. And again, the result of this reduction is called
Positive.
and a positive. Good. Any questions in this exercise?
No.
No.
No, teacher.
Well, so let me now we are going to apply similar rules to the reduction of adverb clauses. Remember, we studied adverb clauses last time with the PowerPoint presentation. And we saw that there are clauses of time and place, reason, condition, many types of adverb clauses. They are characterized by a subordinating conjunction to introduce them. So before I start, let me make sure that this material is in your classroom. So if you go to your Google Classroom, under a new section called Reducing Adverb Clauses, you will find the file that I am going to present. It's called ASAR, reduction of adverb clauses. Let me know if you could find it. Yeah, could you find it?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, so I'm going to share my screen to explain some important details. So here we have a chart to introduce. Is it clear or is it blurry?
It's clear.
Okay. Yeah. So something important that we need to understand about these adverb clauses and the reductions is that the reduction is only possible when the subject in the subordinate clause and in the main clause are the same. So we have the example, while I was walking to class, I ran into an old friend. This is very similar to what we did in the relative clauses. But in this case, the word while doesn't disappear. The connector doesn't disappear. So what disappears is the verb, the subject, and the verb to be. And the result is, again, a participial phrase. But in this case, we preserve the connector. While walking to class, I ran into an old friend. Again, we have the same subject in the two parts of the sentence. So, then, the problem is this one doesn't have the verb to be. We know that we have to drop subject and that a conjugated verb cannot be the solution. So I need to decide, is this active voice? Is it passive voice? It's active. So I just transform this into the active participle. So far, so good. Before leaving for work, I ate breakfast. Is it okay?
Okay.
So. Then, here they are going to emphasize precisely the fact that here we have the same subject. So the change is possible. We drop the subject and we drop the verb to be. And we obtain, while sitting in class, I fell asleep. It's the same person, it's understood. Here we have, again, we have the same subject. And she. So we have the verb to be visible, no problem. We drop the subject, but now who is she? So we need to recover this subject and to replace it here to keep the information. So while sitting in class, Anne fell asleep. Is it clear?
Okay.
Yeah, because if I simply drop Anne from the subordinate clause and I keep here she, nobody's going to know who she is. So I need to recover important information. Then, now we have, while the teacher was lecturing to the class, I fell asleep. The change is impossible because if I drop this, while lecturing to the class, I fell asleep. You give the impression that you are the teacher giving the lecture. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
So we cannot, when we have different subjects, the change is not possible because subjects are different. And this one is even better. While we were walking home, a frog hopped across the road in front of us. Entonces, imagínense que quito we y quito where. Entonces, ¿quién está caminando a casa?
The frog.
The frog.
La rana, ¿no? Entonces ya parece que estoy como en una película de Disney, ¿no? La rana tiene casa y va caminando a su casa. So I cannot do this because we have two different subjects. So we is different from the frog. The teacher is different from I. When we have the same subject, the change is possible. It's possible. Just make sure to retrieve important information. Now, here we have precisely the example of the frog. No? While walking home, a frog hopped? No. While watching TV, the telephone rang. ¿Quién está viendo la tele?
El teléfono.
El teléfono. Entonces, este es uno de los pocos temas divertidos de la gramática, porque cuando se equivocan, se producen imágenes muy chistosas, muy surrealistas, la verdad. Entonces, esto aquí. The phone is watching TV. And the frog is walking home. Okay. So let's continue. Oops, student with connection problems. So then we have, since Maria came to this country, these are time clauses. Since Maria came to this country, she has made many friends. Entonces, quito a María aquí para no perder información. Luego, este verbo está en voz activa. Por eso se transforma en active participle. La posición se conserva, todo se conserva, la coma se conserva. Since coming to this country, Maria has made many friends. And this happens with after, before, while, and since. Then we have, after he had finished his homework, or after he finished his homework, Peter went to bed. So we have the two options, after finishing or after having finished, the perfect parts. The active or the perfect, but active voice because the original was active voice. So I can say after finishing his homework, Peter went to bed, or after having finished his homework, Peter went to bed. And of course, since this is the complement in initial position, this is the structure of this sentence. This verb doesn't have an object. It has another complement, a complement of place. That is why I have this. We know that we can use this in this position. So Peter went to bed after finishing his homework. Entonces aquí tenemos, no hay object, tenemos el complemento 1 y el 2 al final, sin comas. Is it clear?
Okay.
Yes.
So far, so good. Well, so in exercise A1, the first thing they request is that we underline the subjects of the adverb clause and the main clause. This is important for us at the beginning to make sure that we can decide if the reduction is possible or not. And then if the change is possible, you do it. We have the example. Number 1, while Joe was driving to school yesterday, he had an accident. So we have Joe and he. It's the same subject. We know it's the same subject because of the theme and rain rules. This he refers to Joe. And we know that we drop the subject, the verb to be, when it is present. We keep the connector. But now I need to retrieve this information so that we don't lose important information. And the result, while driving to school yesterday, Joe had an accident. The comma is important, remember, because we have a complement, in this case, of time in initial position. In number 2, while Joe was watching TV last night, the telephone rang. So we have the subject of the subordinate clause is Joe. The subject of the main clause is the telephone. They are different. No change is possible. Okay, so you have number 3. Before I came to class, I had a cup of coffee. What are the words that I have to underline?
I.
I and I. Okay. So is the change possible?
Yes.
Yes. So what is the change in this case? What is the new sentence?
Before coming to class,
Before coming to class, what?
I had a cup of coffee.
I had a cup of coffee. In number 4, what should we underline?
The student and the teacher.
The student and the teacher. Is the change possible?
No.
No. So you're right, no change. Okay, is it clear? To finish the rest of the exercise.
Okay.
So, as usual, especially because this is the first time we face this kind of problem, I recommend working individually first and then comparing your answers with your partner. So I am going to give you 10 minutes. So remember, first, identify the subjects. With this, you decide if the change is possible. If it is possible, you rewrite the sentence. If the change is not possible, you simply write no change, and that's it. Well, so let's see. 10 minutes. So I have some students. Let me see.
Yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I didn't remember that we need to do first individually the activity.
Yeah. Okay.
So, to... ¿De dónde hasta dónde era? Perdón.
I think
Can you repeat?
I think it's from 3 to 15. All the exercise. Okay, I'm ready. Okay, and give me a second. Okay, 5. Since coming here, I have learned a lot of English. Okay. Mhm. Since. Since. Since opening? Okay. Mhm. Yes, yes. 7. I put, after having finished breakfast, Omar left the house and went to his office. I think that it also could be after finishing breakfast, but I put having finished. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Eight. Mhm. Yes, I, I wrote the same. Okay, 9. You should always read a contract before signing your name. Okay. Shrimp. No changes. And you said before come, but this came. Before the waiter came? Okay, okay. That's all. Yeah, but this, okay. 11. Before asking the librarian for help, I don't know if you is we need that, but I put before asking the librarian for help, should make every effort to find the materials yourself. So I dropped you, but I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Thanks. Okay. Mhm. Ear. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And also is while Jack was trying to sleep, while a mosquito kept buzzing in his ear. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's all. Okay. 13. While climbing the mountain, Susan lost her footing and fell onto a ledge several feet below. Yeah. Okay. Mhm. Experienced. Experienced. Yeah. Experienced. Okay. Okay. Yes, experienced. Experienced. Es como Ernst. ¿Alguna vez viste El Señor de los Anillos? Pues los estos se llaman Ents. Así es como The Wilson have experienced. Esa madre. Ajá. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The same. Okay. 15. After hearing Mary describe how cold it gets in Minnesota in the winter, I decided not to go there for my vacation in January. So I heard and I put herding. Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's all.
Well, I guess everybody's back. So let's start checking. Okay. Lucero, number 5, please.
Yes. Since
Give me the original, give me what you underline, then you tell me if the change is possible, and if the change is possible, you give me the new version.
okay, since I came here, I have learned a lot of English. The subjects are I, and the final sentence will be since coming here, I have learned a lot of English.
Okay, since coming here, I have learned a lot of English. Number 6, Laura.
Since Bob opened his new business, he was been working 16 hours a day.
Has, not was, has.
Since Bob opened his new business, he has been working 16 hours a day. Bob and he is the same. And final, since opening his new business, Bob has been working 16 hours a day.
Okay, thank you. Ignacio.
After Omar finished breakfast, he left the house and went to his office. I underlined Omar and he. After having finished breakfast, he left the house and went to his office.
Who is he?
No, sorry. After having finished breakfast, Omar left the house and went to his office.
Omar, I need to retrieve that.
Yes.
What is another possibility for this one? Axel.
After finishing breakfast, Omar left the house and went to his office.
We dropped this completely and we can say after finishing. Both are correct. Okay, next, Axel.
Okay. Alex hurt his back while he was shopping.
Shopping. No la estaba comprando, la estaba cortando.
Shopping.
Shopping.
Yeah. I underlined Alex and he. And the new sentence is Alex hurt his back while chopping wood.
While chopping wood. Okay. Next, Carla.
Okay. You should always read a contract before you sign your name. And the subjects are you and you. And then you should always read a contract before signing your name.
Before signing your name. Number 10. Sayer.
Okay, before the waiter came to our table, I had already made up my mind to order shrimp. I underlined the waiter and I. And so the change is not possible.
Not possible. Thank you. Number 11, Fair.
Before you ask the librarian for help, you should make every effort to find the materials yourself. I underlined you and you.
Are you asking me?
No, you and you.
You and you.
And I changed it by before asking the librarian for help, you should make every effort to find the materials yourself.
Thank you. Olin.
Yes, number 12. While Jack was trying to sleep last night, a mosquito kept buzzing in his ear. In his ear? Sorry. Okay, the subjects are Jack and a mosquito. And the new version, sorry. The subjects are different, so there is no change.
No change possible. Thank you. 13. Maria.
While Susan was climbing the mountain, she lost her footing and fell onto a ledge several feet below. The subjects are Susan and she. It's while climbing the mountain, Susan lost her footing and fell onto a ledge several feet below.
Okay. Next. Gabriel.
Yes. The Wilsons have experienced many changes in their lifestyle since they adopted twins. I underline the Wilsons and they. And the final result is having experienced many changes in their lifestyle, the Wilsons adopted twins. But in this one, I'm not sure.
Okay. Let me remember. What we reduce is the subordinate clause. Which is the subordinate clause here, Gabriel?
Is have experience. In this one, I'm not sure.
Okay. A subordinate clause always starts. Let me find a different color. Always starts with
okay.
With a subordinating conjunction, por eso se llaman subordinate clauses.
Yeah, you're right. So the conjunction, it is since they adopted.
And this is the part that can be reduced, not the main clause. So,
okay. So the final result, it would be the Wilsons have experienced many changes in their lifestyle since adopting twins. Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. And then, Odette.
After I hear Mary describe how cold it gets in Minnesota, in the winter, I decide not to go there for my vacation in January.
A ver, vamos a corregir primero la pronunciación aquí.
Yes.
Esto sí es here, pero el pasado es heard.
Okay, after I heard.
Y luego, sí tengo que pronunciar toda la sílaba. Decided. I have to hear 3 syllables. So go ahead, repeat everything.
Okay. After I heard Mary describe how cold it gets in Minnesota in the winter, I decided not to go there for my vacation in January.
What are the subjects?
I and I. And the new version is after hearing. Okay, after hearing Mary describe how cold it gets in Minnesota in the winter, I decided not to go there for my vacation in January.
Okay, any questions here?
No.
No? Okay.
Oh, yeah. I have one. Give me a second. 11. We could drop both you, something like, before asking the librarian for help, should make every effort to find the materials yourself?
No, impossible.
Okay, okay.
This is a modal. This is a conjugated verb. Si no hubiera should, sí podrías, porque este sería un imperativo y se sobreentiende el you.
Okay, okay, yeah.
Okay. Pero should, that's it. Okay?
Yeah.
No es imperativo. Aguas con esas confusiones.
Gracias.
Any other question? No? Well, so let's continue. So here we are going to have some other ideas on how to reduce some of these adverb clauses. Observe this case. While I was walking down the street, I ran into an old friend. So we already know that we simply drop I and was. Well, because it was the same subject. But this is what you were doing in the previous exercise. But it's also possible to drop while and just say, walking down the street, I ran into an old friend. So, as they say, sometimes while is omitted at the beginning of the sentence gives the same meaning as during the same time. Then, hiking through the woods yesterday, we saw a bear. It's possible to say while hiking through the woods, but it's not really necessary. It's understood. Pointing to the sentence on the board, the teacher explained the meaning of modifying phrases. Or while pointing to the sentence on the board. So it's, in this case, the word while is optional. Now, this word time. Now let's see cause and effect. So, because she needed some money to buy a book, Sue cashed a check. Well, first condition, we have the same subject. So the reduction is possible. And then, in the case of the word because, we drop it. So we drop the word because, we drop the subject, and if it is active voice, we use the active participle. Needing some money to buy a book, so cashed a check. Because he lacked the necessary qualification, he was not considered for the job. So we have the same subject, no problem. So this is because. When we have because, we can drop it. We drop the subject, and this is active voice, so we use the active form. Lacking the necessary qualifications, he was not considered for the job. Having plus past participle is the perfect active participle, if you remember. Having seen the movie before, I don't want to go again. So in this case, sometimes it implies the idea of because I have seen it before, and the perfect clearly indicates that this action happened before the other action. Y siempre la tenemos que entender en función de la segunda. Aquí, having seen the movie before, pasó en un pasado más remoto que este pasado. Y este pasó en un pasado simplemente anterior al presente. So.
Again, please.
Yes.
Ah, o sea, vamos a tratar de reconstruir esto. Because I have seen that movie. A lo mejor lo voy a poner acá, no tengo espacio. Because I have seen that movie before, I don't want to go again. Y la otra sería because I have seen that movie before, I didn't want to go again. Do you understand these sentences?
Yes.
Entonces, este before es before el presente y este before es before el pasado. ¿Sí está de acuerdo?
Okay.
Yeah.
Bueno. Entonces, en ambos casos, cuando yo quiero reducirla, va a dar el mismo resultado. Porque quito because, ¿no? Quito I. Y estos dos se van a transformar en having. ¿Están de acuerdo? No tengo muchas sopitas, porque cuando tengo participios tengo un menú más limitado. Entonces, solo tengo el perfect, y el perfect es así, having seen, no tengo past perfect en los participios, solo tengo perfect. Perfect simple o perfect continuous, no tengo pasado. Entonces, ambos se van a transformar en having seen, y ese having seen lo tengo que interpretar a la luz del otro tiempo.
Okay.
¿Sí? So?
So. Thank you.
Okay. Well, so in the next exercise, you don't have to write the participial phrases. They are already here. But you have to discuss with your partner which ones have the meaning of because, which ones give the meaning of while, and which may have the idea of both because and while, because it is ambiguous. When we have reductions, we lose some information, especially when we drop the connector because or the connector while. So there is more ambiguity. But in some cases, it's possible to clearly distinguish if it is a cause or if it is time, simultaneous actions. In some other cases, the meaning is ambiguous, so we can have both meanings. So, this lovely exercise. 12 sentences. So you have to read the sentence, identify the reduction. The reduction is already there. Ya están ahí, no tengo que hacerlas. Solo tengo que interpretarlas. Is it clear?
Yes.
Well, you have 6 minutes to work with your partner and discuss. So, here we go. 7 minutes.
You want to start or we work individually? Okay. First one is sitting on the airplane is ing phrase at the beginning of the sentence. So the chart 18.4 say that the first sentence, sitting on the airplane, is the because, is the cause for this part. So because I am on the airplane, I'm watching the clouds, I let my thoughts wander to the new experiences. Blah blah blah. Okay. And also, being a self-supporting widow with 3 children, she has no choice but to work. In the chart 18.4, L, M, and N, it say that a form of E in the adverb clause may be changed to being. The use of being makes the cause and effect relationship clear. So the first being a self-supporting widow with 3 children is the because. Yeah. Okay. While, okay. Like, como mientras. Okay. I don't know. I don't know why I can't. No, I don't know. Creo que basta con, ¿no? En la parte de arriba, en 18.3, te fijas, es como, while I was walking down the street, I ran into an old friend. En todas esas partes, como que conservan el mismo, digamos, el mismo tiempo, ¿no? Y caminando, bla, 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 corrí, ¿no? O sea, me encontré con un viejo amigo, bla, 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 bla. Ajá. Entonces, por ejemplo, en esta parte, sitting on the airplane and watching the clouds pass beneath me, yo digo que ahí está como, pues el mismo, ¿no? O sea, están pasando al mismo tiempo, ¿no? Está sentado y viendo las nubes pasar. Ya, pero esa parte no tiene esta parte de ing, entonces no nos tenemos que preocupar mucho de esa parte. Entonces, pues ahí no. No, según yo son los dos, because and while. Ajá, because. Porque es así como de, ok, siendo una viuda que se sustenta por sí sola con 3 hijos, no tiene elección más que trabajar, ¿no? Ajá, exacto, ¿no? Mm-hmm. Again, the first sentence is because, but I don't know if it's also at while. I don't know.
At the moment, we only put because.
Okay.
Number 4, having already spent all his
Last page. Yeah, because. Why? Yeah, I think that also. I think it's, yeah. Yo, yo digo, yo digo que este pasa al mismo tiempo. Es mientras los ves jugar, te sientes como un hombre viejo, a pesar de que solo tienes 40. ¿No? Entonces, yo digo que aquí es wild. I think it's only because como ya crear, bueno, no sé exactamente cómo traducir esto de verdad, pero es como ya tuvieron a 10 hijos, los estos se consideran expertos en comportamiento infantil. Pero la otra es como being totally surprised. Estando totalmente sorprendida por su propuesta de matrimonio, Carol no puede encontrar las palabras para contestar. Entonces ahí yo digo que es en el justo momento en el que está pasando esto. Ajá, sí, entonces ahí yo digo que es guay.
Did anybody lose his partner or her partner?
Yes, I was.
Because I have the impression that not everybody's back. Something happened. But
Yes,
well,
but she told us that she has an exam.
An
So
exam.
an exam. Yes, she
Okay.
has to return early, to leave early.
Okay. Well, let's check quickly. Mhm. Okay. Number one, Jessica, are you there?
Yes.
Read and tell us the cause or why. Or both.
Okay. Sitting on the airplane and watching the clouds pass beneath me, I let my thoughts wander to the new experiences that were in store for me during the next 2 years of living abroad. We think it's wild.
Wild. Number two, Victor?
Being a self-supporting widow with 3 children, she has no choice but to work. So I think it's because
How did you pronounce this word?
being
¿Cómo es este verbo?
be.
Be. Una regla que no tiene excepción es la de la pronunciación de los verbos cuando tienen este agregado. Entonces es being, not being. Being.
Okay, thanks.
I have to hear the be.
Being a self-supporting widow with 3 children, she has no choice but to work.
Oh, thank you. Mildred, 3. Oh, probably Mildred is the one who left. Monse?
Yes, lying on her bed in peace and quiet, she soon forgot her troubles. We think it is wild.
Number 4, Sandra. Victoria.
Having already spent all of his last paycheck, he does not have any money to live on for the rest of the month. We think it's because.
Thank you. Marisa.
Watching the children's energetic play, I felt like an old man, even though I am only 40. We think it's both.
Next, Hugo. Remember that this is an exception. The singular is child, but the plural is children. And children. Child is singular, children plural. It's an irregularity, and we have to learn it and accept it like that. Abigail.
Being totally surprised by his proposal of marriage, Carol could not find the words to reply. We think it's because.
Jen, Lucero.
Driving to my grandparents' house last night, we saw a young woman who was selling flowers. We stopped so that we could buy some from my grandmother. Wild? We think it's wild.
Okay. Jen, Laura?
Struggling against fatigue, I forced myself to put one foot in front of the other. Because? I don't know. Struggling against fatigue, I forced myself to put one foot up in front of the other. Maybe both.
Maybe both. Ignacio?
Having guessed that the correct answers for a good part of the test, I did not expect to get a high score. Because.
Axel?
Okay. Realizing that I had made a dreadful mistake when I introduced him as George Johnson, I walked over to him and apologized. I know his name is John George. Please. I think that realizing until Johnson is wild, but also is because maybe both.
I walked over to him and apologized. So you apologize. So you think it's both? Yeah. Does everybody think it's both?
I think it's because.
I feel more like because.
That's because he's apologizing from his anger.
So it's not something that I did simultaneously. It's because I realized this, I decided it was a good idea to say I'm sorry.
Yes, it's a reason. It's a reason. Apologize.
And it's
And
it's not simultaneous. It's a reason.
Primero se dio cuenta que había cometido un error y luego se disculpó.
Y luego ya. No al mismo tiempo, ¿no? O sea, porque se vería muy mal, o sea, como que te voy a pisar y de una vez te pido perdón. Perdón, te voy a pisar, Tom. O sea, como medio sádico, medio raro, ¿no? Okay. And then Carla. Well, Zaire?
Okay. Sorry, I got lost. Which number?
Number 12.
Tapping his fingers slowly on the desktop, he makes his impatience and dissatisfaction known.
Satisfaction.
Dissatisfaction.
No, faction, no. Dissatisfaction. Acuérdense de la canción de Miss Rowling. Satisfaction.
And it is wild. It is wild.
Wow. Okay, and how did you pronounce this one?
Loudly.
Loudly. Wow. Okay, well, for homework, you have exercise. And let me stop this. Yeah. And let me show.
I don't remember.
Excuse me?
Sorry, I don't remember myself to record the class. Oh, this last exercise.
Gee, too bad.
Sorry.
Well, no, problem is for the other students who are not here. Too bad for them. Well, then, so for homework, you have exercise 3. And in the Google Classroom, I don't know if you want me to upload this material. Let me show you. This is an article that appeared today at The Economist. It's about Mexico because of the elections. It's relatively long. Relatively long. It's 3 pages. But it's your opportunity to read real English. And it has lots of wonderful relative clauses and lots of lovely logical connectors. So, do you want me to upload it to the Google Classroom in the bulletin board? And well, it's up to you if you read it. It's not for homework. It's an optional thing.
Yes.
Yes,
Please.
teacher, please.
Okay, so I will upload it, and you will be able to check it. So let me do it. What are we doing? Yeah, something strange happened here. Classroom. And let's see. Just